Review: Netflix's new Texas Chainsaw Massacre doesn't live up to the promise of its first kill, following in the footsteps of recent reboots Halloween and Scream. Texas Chainsaw Massacre attempts to revive a horror icon. Sally Hardesty might not boast as much cultural awareness as Laurie Strode or Sidney Prescott, but she deserves respect as the original final girl. Unfortunately, this direct sequel to 1974's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre doesn't give the Scream Queen, played here by Olwen Fouere, the triumphant return she deserves. It isn't just Sally who gets short shrift. Director David Blue Garcia's Texas Chainsaw Massacre feints at social commentary on school shootings, gentrification, and racism. However, the approach is just as subtle as Leatherface, Mark Burnham, bashing someone's head with a mallet, and not nearly as effective. The enduring country versus city theme of the original remains, but this time, it's not hippies who venture into rural territory with deadly results. Austin-based influencers and their friends, Sarah Yarkin, Jacob Lattimore, Elsie Fisher, and Nell Hudson, see opportunity in a Texas ghost town, but their arrival displaces a longtime resident, Alice Cridge, and the hulking, disturbed man, Guess Who, in her care. An inventive first kill sets a standard that the movie can't match in the dozens of fatalities that follow. Leatherface's relentless carnage is simultaneously too much and not enough, with each successive murder earning less of a reaction. More blood. Shrug. This cannot be a healthy way to feel. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre never evokes the fear that was the hallmark of the original and settles only for disgust at the volume of viscera. The 1974 film was a nightmare that felt too close to reality, but this is merely unpleasant and not in a good way. When Netflix revives an iconic franchise, it's only fair to wonder what's going to happen next. A sequel to the 1974 horror classic, Texas Chainsaw Massacre follows a group of young hopefuls on a mission to cultivate a thriving community far away from the damage of the big city. But their goal of gentrifying this small Texas town turns into a fight for survival as the legendary killer, Leatherface, resurfaces to stop their takeover. After Mama is evicted from the orphanage she runs and then dies, Leatherface returns and wants revenge on the gentrifiers who illegally kicked her out. Unfortunately, Leatherface's only way of coping with these perceived threats is by tearing them apart. He just doesn't understand these kids, producer Fede Alvarez tells in verse. They terrify him, and he just kills them all. Clearly, he's a man who reacts in fear and hate, which is what we all do with everything we don't understand these days. This Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a quick-paced cavalcade of violence that is sure to keep fans talking. It also brings back the franchise's original final girl, Sally Hardesty, Olwen Fouere, who, too, is bent on revenge. But will it sustain enough interest for another sequel to be put in the works? Director David Blue Garcia, Tejano, and producer Fede Alvarez, Evil Dead, spoke with Inverse about the film's ending, where this installment falls in the franchise's canon, and what it means for the future of Leatherface. Warning: major spoilers for Texas Chainsaw Massacre ahead. Lila, Elsie Fisher, who survived a school shooting that left many of her friends dead, has similar scars to Sally Hardesty, and none of them are completely healed. The film's final act sees Sally shoot Leatherface and stab him in the gut. His rebuttal comes with a chainsaw as he puts it through her torso. Lila's sister Melody, Sarah Yarkin, tries to ram him with Sally's truck but crashes instead. She frantically pleads with Lila to run. Preparing for her own chainsaw fate, Melody tearfully apologizes to Leatherface for "what we did to your mama." So when the ending shows Lila holding a gun, it sends an array of messages to the audience. She's a victim of a shooting and has been thoroughly traumatized by gun violence. Yet, here she appears with a semi-automatic weapon in her hands, ready to take down Leatherface, who has been murdering her friends. When she pulls the trigger, though, it doesn't go off. Now, with Leatherface hot on her trail, she's left to run away once again. Thanks to Sally's final Hail Mary move, who gets him with 2 more shotgun bullets, the monster bails into a run-down movie theater. Lila takes the weapon, and Sally dies, officially passing the final girl torch to Lila.